Commence primary ignition.
Hey there friends, fans, and collectors. Welcome to another episode of Binary Sunset Review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Target exclusive Kenner Boba Fett repaint. Let's get going.
What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me.
This repainted figure, as I mentioned, is a Target exclusive. It is one of 3 Boba Fett repaints that is going to be an exclusive that we're going to be seeing this summer. Now, I'm excited to get this one in hand. Even though these exclusive repaints are seemingly like nonsensical cash grabs, I'm actually pretty excited about the uniqueness of them and the history that's behind each and every one. This repaint is of course an homage to the original Kenner Boba Fett line, the original Kenner Star Wars line, and that Boba Fett figure, which I believe was a mail away at the time, had a firing jetpack, and that figure itself is one of the most rare Star Wars figures out there in the world. It's really great that we're getting a repaint of that historic figure on the Vintage Collection line with the same card back that we had seen previously. Being a repaint, it is the same model as we saw with the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, that we also saw repackaged for the Droids Target exclusive Boba Fett, and whereas that is lazy in some ways, it was also a really, really good mold of Fett himself. It's really nice to see the detail and articulation that we expect from the Vintage Collection in this Kenner repaint. Here we have the card back for the Target exclusive Vintage Collection Kenner repaint Boba Fett. We can see we have the original card back that was with the Kenner figure, and we have the Kenner logo down there in the bottom. This is a really unique repaint. We're getting a bunch of these repaints. Target really did invest in their mold of Boba Fett this year, and they're getting their dollars worth for sure. It is not on the main line, but it is a numbered exclusive, so it is included in the numbered wave. Really neat to see this retro repacking and this reissue of this Boba Fett. Now, we've seen him a ton of times this year, but this is one that I appreciate particularly. We see here the other Boba Fetts that were issued in the past for the Vintage Collection, the majority of which are going to take place in the next year or so, where this number is going to double. We are getting 3 other exclusive Boba Fetts with different repaints. These figures are all using the same figure mold of the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett that was seen reissued a few years ago. Each one of these designs has a different unique paint job, from the Droids over here to the Kenner repaint to the original Boba Fetts from the series and live action that we've seen. Now, Target really did invest. All of these exclusives are majority from Target for Boba Fett. They really did their marketing correctly, and it shows and pays, I'm sure. Let's flip this figure around. We'll get the backside. We have the current wave. Now, this was with the last line of figures, or actually, yeah, this was with the last line of figures of 2022, not in the 2023 line. Now, that included the first figures from Andor, Cal Kestis, Luke Skywalker from the Imperial Light Cruiser, and I guess even before then, Darth Vader Dark Times. Interesting, this card back is a little jumbled up. With the exclusives, we do see the figure jammed in there, even though it's not with the normal line. With the better framing and lighting, we can now see that VC number is 275. So this is included in the annual numbered lineup for the Vintage Collection, even though it isn't exclusive. On the back, we have the Star Wars logo and the piping with the Vintage Collection logo down there in the middle. We have a lot of legalese, the Hasbro and Disney logos there on the bottom. Let's free this guy from his bubble. Here we have the first impressions of our Boba Fett with the Kenner repaint out of the box. He really is looking pretty fantastic. It is their favorite mold from the Return of the Jedi. First impressions have to be the different colored backpack and jetpack. Look at how awesome that looks. As well as obviously the yellow shoulder pads matching his yellow knee pads there. The bright tint green is also very unique, but we'll go over that in the painting in detail. But all in all, really nice build to a figure. The painting and detailing of this figure is what makes it so special. We've seen this model before many times, like I've said, but it's the special lime green chest plate, the yellow gauntlets, the yellow shoulder pads, everything that matches the 1978, I believe, Kenner release of this figure originally in the Kenner line in 3 3/4 scale. As we can see here, the helmet also has a very unique paint job. Now, it's the same red that we normally have on the T of his visor, but the lighter shade of gray really brings out the colors much more. And the under the cheeks dark really does just add so much more accent. That's normally there in his paint job, but it's just much more accented here. The jetpack, our normal Z6 jetpack here, it's bright red on the tip, the missile. It's also got this unique blue mixed with the gray that we see in his uniform. These different shades are a unique way of getting different exclusive Boba Fetts out there, and they're certainly getting their money's worth. Here we have our accessories that came with our Target exclusive Kenner Repaint Boba Fett. We have our special Z6 jetpack, as well as our trusty E3 blaster rifle there. Nothing really special, still missing the pistol, of course, because this was the redone version of the Return of the Jedi mold. Let's talk articulation for our Kenner Repaint Boba Fett. And this comes in at 17 joints with a ball-jointed neck, a ball-jointed lower neck, 2 ball-jointed shoulders, 2 ball-jointed elbows, 2 ball-jointed wrists, 1 ball-jointed upper body, 2 ball-jointed hips, 2 swivel thighs, 2 ball-jointed knees, and 2 ball-jointed ankles. Now we really do get some great articulation out of this figure. It's a nice mold, and as I've been saying throughout this review, Target is getting their money's worth out of this Boba Fett mold and several repaints of it. The double joints in the neck really do allow for some extra articulation, especially for characters where you cannot remove the helmet. It really does live up to the standards that we're expecting out of the Vintage Collection. Pros and cons for this figure. I think it's really, really great that we're getting the classic 1978 Kenner repaint on the Vintage Collection. Now this is a really, really superly coveted figure in history of Star Wars. It is, I think, the most expensive action figure ever sold for something like over $250,000, and that's the J firing rocket type. But again, that's the one this is based on, that's the model this is based on, but in the Vintage Collection. So it's really nice to have a piece of Star Wars history in the Collector's Collection, Vintage Collection. Wasn't really happy with the price increase with this. This was an exclusive price, so it started off at like $22, I think, which is just absurd. So the base price of like $16 they pushed this to it's a little bit absurd for the amount of repaints we've been getting and not original figures. But to have the exclusives for these stores now starting at $22, going up to $24, pretty ridiculous. Cons. Now accessibility. These Boba Fett repaints are all Target exclusives, and they all sold out online almost immediately, definitely within a couple minutes. Now, as with most Target on-shelf exclusives, I've been able, and people have been able to find them on shelves with the DPCI code and with the right schedule and timing and just outright luck. Now, unfortunately for those of us that remained only with our online orders, now I didn't actually get any online orders, so I had to get these just in the store, and I was lucky enough to find them. But those of us who did get pre-orders, a lot of us are having them canceled now because they actually never got shipped when they hit shelves. They just got sold out immediately as soon as they went to the store. So we're seeing this pattern, unfortunately, with Target where bots hit their pre-orders immediately, and then even those who did get pre-orders are oftentimes not getting theirs sent to them. The weird upside to that is that with Target, you can usually find them on shelves, but it would be nice to have this balanced in some way. Cons, I also forgot to mention that this figure is missing his cape. Now, I just love the little half cape that Boba has, and all of these different repaints, for the most part, had different colored capes, and I was curious as to what this one's gonna get. We're gonna get some other capes in the other Boba Fetts that we're gonna be seeing in these repaints in the future, but I was a little bit disappointed that our Kenner repaint did not come with a cape himself. All in all, I would certainly recommend this figure. It's always nice to see a Fett figure on shelves there, and it's great to have a bit of Star Wars history packaged in the Vintage Collection here. Thanks for watching another episode of Binary Sunset Review. As always, I've been Mike. Your likes and your views are greatly appreciated. Let me know what you think about this figure in the comments below. I hope you're having a great summer out there. Stay safe, stay sane, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.